Good morning, settle down. Our guest is here. Before we announce anything else, I know we've been 2 years at home, so we've forgotten to switch off our phones. On silent, please, or aeroplane mode. Easiest, no? A very warm welcome to our guest today, Miss Radhikaa Sarathkumar. Please welcome her. It's always said, right? The busier a woman gets, the more organized she is. I think I really truly believe in that. And Miss Radhika is a true example of that. And thank you for the short notice I've given you. My apologies again, because you're anywhere on our list. And when you said yes, we were all elated. So thank you so much, Radhika, for being with us today. Coming back to the Duchess, Radhika, this is for your information. You've come for a Utsav, I think, come and inaugurated, I think 2003, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so you have been a very much a part of us. And just to say that we have crossed our 20 years now, right, girls? And it's lovely to see each one of you. And let me tell you, each one of them is looking more beautiful. The 20 years, I mean, you guys haven't aged, you bloomed, right? You're all looking so much more beautiful today, especially after that hiatus of 2 years, I think. It's like old times again. Hey, thanks. Thank you, Vijay. Thanks. It's just that, I was standing there and feeling like a mother hen. I'm preening away, Feels really like feeling joyful today that all of us are back. And again, this is the month of March, Women's Day and all that. I'm sure all of you had a great time 2 days back. So without any more, I will hand over the mic to Radhika. But before that, Sujata, we have an announcement, yes. Right? Like we said, 20 years, we're having lots and lots of action. And we're trying to do things a little differently because I think whatever the rules allow, we're trying to tweak them actually. Okay. So the car rally will happen much later in the month of June or July, the women's car rally. This month on the 27th of March, we have something exciting. What is it, Sujata?
So we are having a family treasure hunt. So we want the Duchess members to all take part with their families, friends. It's open to all, everybody. It's not just a women rally. It's basically a family rally. We are partnering with Babes on Bikes. So one member in each car either has to be a Duchess or a Bob. And then you can make your team. And of course, you will have a scavenger hunt. You'll have clues on the way. It's going to be really interesting. It's not a usual time, distance, speed rally. So you don't need to calculate. You just need to be aware of your surrounding wherever you're going on the route. And it's going to be fun. So we want all of you to come and take part in it.
Family can be boyfriends also, not necessarily husbands. I know it's understood, Anu. Yeah, that's
So I hope it's exciting for everybody to join for the rally, treasure hunt. Yes, so we want a number of cars to come in and it's going to be fun. We promise you that.
Okay, so guys, get geared up for that. Before that, we would like to welcome some new members who have come in and also some members from O2 are also here today. So welcome girls to all of you. So stay for the meeting and stay for lunch afterwards. Yeah, we have some interesting menu today. So I think it's all about street food today. Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. And first of all, a warm welcome to all our members who are coming after a long time, like Sharda, who had gone off to Bangalore, and Somni and Lalita, Saira over there. So it's so nice to see all of you all. And of course, we love to increase our membership and increase our Duchess family. So we've got 4 names today joining in new.
What is the request made to the Duchess members last time?
Yes, to bring a buddy, and I think some of them have done it. It's already started and it's open still. Every month you can bring in a buddy. So as I call out the name, we would like you to just stand up and get recognized, please. Priyanka Burhat, Shanti Prince, Sumati Shankar, And Swarna Lakshmi. Where is she? Yeah, yeah. So welcome to the Duchess family, and I hope you are with us throughout. Thank you so much. Yeah. I think she was done last time. Yeah. And a lot of O2 members are there who are planning to join. Where's Nina? So, not O2, Aqua members. You see, wherever we go, we are just talking about our Duchess Club.
Okay, it's a good thing to talk about. Okay, now before we give the mic to you, Rati, I think Dr. Pritika, our honorary member, has a very, very special announcement to make. And let me tell you, this idea can only come to Dr. Pritika.
Good morning. It's nice to see all of you after 2 years. Even I have not been coming. During last week, when I was thinking what we can do, something new for Women's Day, I was thinking of workplace wellness. And I was getting ideas on how we can tell young women who are in the working, who are earning, how to put away some money for their health. Because when they come with something wrong with them and we ask, did you have an annual health checkup? They say, no, ma'am, I run out of money by the end of the month. Because beginning of the month, they're doing a lot of online shopping. They are earning 20, 25,000, but they find that at the end of the year, they don't have money for a 5,000 or 4,000 rupee health checkup. And I thought that was such a stupid thing to happen. So I was thinking like a chit fund, we could have something where they could put away. Have two schemes, 500 rupees a month or 1,000 rupees a month, give them a book, give them a lucky draw once in 3 months, things like that. But when I was thinking about this idea, I was thinking there's another group of people who don't take care of their health. But interestingly enough, as a friend observed, they don't fall ill as much as the more privileged sections of society. Somehow they keep working. They're the maids in our house. Okay, so Dr. Usha Sriram, as you know, she's got this initiative for diabetes and women, and she's got an NGO, and they're dealing with underprivileged women. So I was just chatting with her, and then we came up with a program, which we thought the workplace for our maid and our cook who comes and goes every day. We're not talking about the live-ins. Is our home or your home. So if there is something that we can do towards promoting the concept of health in these women, and each one of you takes responsibility for the maid in your home. So we came up with this project which we call as Nam Nelam. Nam means I'm well, you're well. We are both well. So this is a program for the women in the unorganized sector. So our commitment is to the health of all women, and Divas is initiating a program to make the health of the women who work as maids, cooks, and nannies. Women have anemia, diabetes, arthritis, high blood pressure, nutritional deficiencies, heart disease, cancers. Most of these are preventable with periodic screening and good nutrition. Our Nam Nalam program is designed to help women who help us by paying attention to their physical and mental health and motivating them to keep themselves and their families healthy. Divas will provide all the women with a health booklet where their health history will be recorded, including blood group, vaccinations, height, weight, medical history, medications, etc. Young women will also be provided with contraception advice through videos. And we are looking forward to your participation in this program. What should you do? What you need to do is we will give you a hundi. Put away 500 rupees every month into that hundi for 12 months towards the health care of your maid. I don't think it's a lot. Also insist that they eat at least one vegetable every day. Do not give them the money. Give them 20 rupees worth of vegetable every single day so that they can cook it and eat it. And when the food that we give, make sure that we try to give them nourishing food. If not the old leftovers and things like that, let us all learn to give them the same food that we are eating. We will provide a piggy bank, a pill box, toothbrushes, toothpaste, so that their dental care is also taken care of, masks. And at the end of the year, we will coordinate and make it possible to have a complete health checkup, including vision, hearing, everything for these people. And the idea of this is for you to feel committed to care for them, for them to feel that you are caring for them, because it's very important, the emotion of being cared for. You see, you can do it without them knowing, but if they know, and this involvement is there, so makes it more personal. And at the end of the year, very often what do? If we do this through NGOs and things, and we go and request various hospitals do a free checkup. We don't need to. We've got enough money to provide for the health checkup, for any extra tests, for any medicines that they may need, any supplements that they need. So if whoever is willing to get on board with us on this Nam Nalam program, please send your name, email, and WhatsApp number to Sujata. We'll compile the list and then we'll get started on making the book. And also 1 or 2 maids or whatever, whoever you're going to help at your own home. There is no compulsion to help 1 or more or whatever. It's your choice completely. The advantage of this idea is there's no need for any external supervision. Each one of you are doing it on your own, and we are there as your allies and facilitators. What do you all think of the idea? I think it's a very simple idea that we can do to look after those who help us, because during the pandemic we saw how badly they suffered. So I think this will be a good initiative. We are doing this as a pilot project for 1 year, and then we'll keep scaling it up in more ways. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doc. I think that's a brilliant idea, and it's so simple too, right? And we all know that during the pandemic, they were our heroines at home, isn't it? So also on this note, recently NAB has released a Braille book on women's hygiene. If there's any free copies that any of you would like, you can approach me. I can give it to you. Yeah, just spread the word. Thank you so much.
So on to the meeting today. So dear members, it gives me immense pleasure to introduce our moderator, facilitator, host for today, Srilata Narayan, fondly called Lulu by people who are close, who really know her. I first met Srilata as a young mother at her exercise classes. Always smiling, calm, and full of beans. Meeting her almost every day at class, we started sharing more than just exercise tips, which she always has been very passionate about. Then the Duchess Club got us connected once again, and we took off from where we left. Srilata has always been keen on service to society and achieved many accolades for her contribution. During her tenure as the president of the Inner Wheel Club of Madras Central, during its Silver Jubilee year, she had undertaken several projects with a financial outlay of more than 20 lakhs. Today, the club proudly supports the Chatiyara Football Academy in Alapura, which provides opportunity in football for the less privileged girls, which was spearheaded by her. Srilata is also very popular in the Soroptimist circuit, having donned the title of National President of the National Association of Soroptimists International India. As the president of the Chennai chapter, she set in motion the Inter-School Talent Contest for children with hearing disability, showcasing their skills in debate, art, drama, and music. And that's almost completed 2 decades. Srilata is a proud recipient of the Soroptimist of the Year Award, South India Women Achievers Award in the field of social work, followed by All India Women Achievers Award in the field of social work. She enjoys being a member of Cinema Rendezvous, and she thoroughly enjoys her me time by reading, running, and all things to do with fitness. So welcome, Srilata. Thank you so much. Please come.
Thank you, Anu. It is my privilege and pleasure to introduce to all of you our guest speaker for today, Ms. Radhikaa Sarathkumar. Radhikaa Sarathkumar is an Indian actor, entrepreneur, and producer who works predominantly in Tamil and Telugu cinema. She also has acted in Malayalam, Hindi, and Kannada films. She made her debut in 1978 in the Tamil movie Kilaka Pogum Rail, and then there was no looking back for her. She had produced a film titled Meendum Oru Kadal Kadai in 1985, which won the Indira Gandhi National Award for the best debut film of a director. After becoming successful in cinema, Radhika went on to take the small screen and started Radan Media Works. Chitti, Annamalai, Selvi, Vani Rani were the result of that, and they were all major hits. I am a very big fan of your TV serials, and I think you know that, Radhika. We've discussed it, right? And Radhika is also the proud recipient of 6 Filmfare Awards, 2 Nandi Awards, and 3 Tamil Nadu State Film Awards. And I think that calls for a big applause. She is always bustling with energy and is very active on the social media. I just love her positive notes online. Her message on Instagram on International Women's Day was, quote, "When you are struggling and want to give up, just believe no one can take your journey away. Believe in hope. It is a strong belief, and believe in yourself. We are not one of a kind. We are one in a lifetime," unquote. Radhika, as Nina mentioned earlier, Radhika is a friend of the Duchess Club. She has traveled with the Duchess Travel Wing and has been the chief guest at our Duchess Utsav earlier. I had the pleasure of spending some very good quality time with Radhika, and believe me, she's such a pleasure to be with, so down to earth, full of life and energy, and has a great sense of humor. Not surprising, as she is the daughter of the late Mr. M.R. Radha. Ladies, join me in welcoming our special guest for today and our guest speaker, Ms. Radhikaa Sarathkumar.
So looking forward to a high energy morning with you after 2 years hiatus, given that you are known for your high energy. So Radhika, now we've heard a lot about your career graph and your achievements down the years, down the decades. But what we'd like to know is something behind that achiever, that little girl you once were. Could you take us back to your school days, your teenage years, and your crushes, the posters on your walls, and all of that?
Sure. Good morning to everyone. Quite a chirpy crowd here. Very nice to see all of you. I mean, this is after years that I'm coming out, I'm meeting people. I came in without a mask and I realized, oh God, I didn't wear a mask. I just took it off in the car. But it is really nice to see all of you. Like once again, what Rati was saying, it's hope. We all hope for the better. During the pandemic, we all thought things have to get better. So things are looking better, at least prima facie. It all says, as long as you're vaccinated, the repercussions are low, and we need to keep going. We cannot keep hiding, but let me tell you, the pandemic taught us a lot. It taught me how to clean my house from top to bottom. I didn't have any leave-ins because we couldn't, we were not very sure of them, and they also had families, so we sent them back to their families. My husband and me were competing on how to cook. My husband was cooking, and it was very painful because when he cooks, it is like another kind of war. First he said, Radhika, I'm going to cook, like an announcement. And I'm like, oh shit, okay. Very nice. Go ahead. So then he will say, put all the ingredients on the table. So all the ingredients have to be on the table. And it's like a project. And imagine people who cook like us, so we are looking and saying, fantastic, very nice approach. I have to be nice, it's my husband. So he'll have everything there, and then he'll use about 10-15 vessels. And who has to clean? We have to clean up. So these are all very interesting things which happen, but after a time I just wanted to say, I want to get out of the house. It just was, and I wanted to be back at work, and had so many things going. So anyway, it's very nice to be here. So thank you once again, Nina, and the Duchess Club for having me here. It's really a pleasure talking to you, wonderful women, all individual and great thinkers, great social workers, etc., etc. You'll all put your own journey in here. So it's wonderful being here. And thank you for being the moderator. And you asked me about my teenage years.
Your girlhood too.
My girlhood. I'm always a girl. Never changed. I never believe in numbers. I never believe. I hate celebrating birthdays. And my husband likes to give me surprise. And I hate surprises. I hate being surprised. So he'll throw a party and he'll say, surprise. And I'm like, we act more off screen than on screen. So all of you all are actresses. I have a very good friend of mine who says, I am making more money acting off screen than on screen. Because she's being very nice to her husband and to her family and whatever. Yeah, I started off very, very young. I'm an accidental actress. I belong to a family of an actor, great actor called M.R. Radha, where many of you would have heard. But I was never interested in acting. I was brought up abroad. I was brought up in Sri Lanka. I was studying there. Then I went to London to do a course. I hated London. I came here. I came to visit my dad. And Mr. Bharatanatyam, the director who introduced me, was looking for a heroine. He was having some problem with things. So finding a heroine. The whole unit was in Mettupalayam. And he came to Chennai in a last minute approach to find a heroine. And he had come to a house. I was staying in Indiranagar. He had come to a house a few doors away, who were very good family friends, and seen a picture of mine with all those girls. And he asked, who is this girl? They said, oh, she lives down the road. She lives in the 4th house. At that point in Indiranagar, there was a very big murder. I don't know if everybody memories are there. There was a very big murder in Indiranagar where a woman was murdered in the house. And accidentally, we had rented that very same house out. We'd come from abroad, so we didn't know about it. So we were in that house and I was watering the plants. And Mr. Bharatanatyam walked across to come and see me. And then I was watering the plants and Mr. Bharatanatyam, all of you know director Bharatanatyam? How many of you know? All of you all know. You know how he looks? Very handsome. So he, at that point, was more handsome. He was very dark, yet curly hair till here, scrawny, terrible. So he walked up to my house and I saw this and I thought he was a murderer. So he stood there and he said, "Now ulla varalama." I said, "Ulla varakudadu." I was a young girl. Illa yaradu koopidu, unga amma koopidu. So he said, call me to ask, call my mom. So my mom came and he said, "Na director Bharati Raja, I have made a film called 16 Vayadinile. I want to come in and see you." My mother, of course, being very film savvy, she was a wife to a great actor. She said, "Oh, vanga sir," and sat down. I was just standing there watering plants and I was thinking, I have no idea. And he was there and he said, "Unga ponnu padathula nadikkumanu." I was like, "Eh?" And I said, "Nee nadikriya?" He asked me. And I said, "Yaar ye moonji papa?" He said, "No, adellam paapanga." And he never knew I was Emma Radha's daughter. He never knew. So he somehow liked me. He liked my face. I was a chubby 15-year-old. And, where we think at 15, we know the whole world. Every day I want to be a doctor. Sight of blood put me off. Then I wanted to be an air hostess. I can't stand for so long. And, every day we keep thinking we want to be new things at that age. So he took a lot of convincing. And he somehow said, he liked my smile. And he said, "She will fit this role of a village girl." And I have never been to a village. I have never walked barefoot. I've always, we always wear slippers and stuff like that. So he says, "No, I'm going to cast you in my movie." And then the whole drama started. And then he found out who my father was. He got scared. And then he went and spoke to my father. My father was laughing. In my family, no one thought I would be an actress. I was never the actress person. I was a bookworm. I used to read a lot of books. I was very, very quiet. I used to always be sitting in a corner reading a book. It was my other people in my family, like my sister, was always singing and dancing, and everyone thought she'll be the actress. So my father was taken aback. He was laughing. He's saying, "Radhika." But anyway, my mom, who's a great motivator, she sat me down and she told me, "Give it a shot." I was leaving to London on February 22nd. I still remember that. And she said, "Give it a shot." It was on 18th or 19th this happened. "Work. See if you like it. If you don't like it, go back." So I said, "Okay." Because mommy said. I went to Metupalayam. And I was in jeans and shirt, I remember. At that time, women were not very modern, like nobody used to dress up very modern. And we all were object of curiosity when we went like that. And I would shake my hands with everybody because I was not brought up here. Basically, when I met somebody, I would say, "Hello, how are you?" And they were scandalized. "Enna kai kodukringa, vera enna kaala kodukka mudiyum?" I was like, "Oh, okay." And it all was a learning experience. So I went to Metupalayam. I remember director's assistants. That time was K. Bakiraj, Vijayan. All of them came running. And they said, "Sir, heroine enga, sir, heroine enga." And I was standing there. And he said, "That said, ita heroine. The ponnu da nadikka podhu." And Bakiraj being very blunt, he looked at, "Enna sir, heroine kootitu vara sonna or poosnikaya kootitu vandirukeenga." I never knew Tamil so much, but I knew the word poosnika. Now that is, I thought, I don't like this man. I don't like him. And I will see, my payback time will come. So I went to the sets, and the first day, I remember I had to come running in a shot, And my director said, "Man madri tulliva." I was not anywhere near a deer. Nor was I graceful. I was chubby. I had to come, and the minute he saw, I could see everyone's face. Director was like, "Parala, parala, innoru vaati va." And my mother knew I was doing it wrong, but she's a dancer. Basically, my mother, she's a Bharatanatyam dancer, was studied in Kalakshetra and all that. And she knew, and she was telling me, "Nalla vaha, nadanda va." And please, if you all just go back, Google, Kleke Pogum Rail, Puvara Sambu Puttache. I am running with a flower. You can see the man there. And then I knew I was going wrong. They were taking more takes. I started crying. And that time there was no waterproof mascara or eyeliner. I had black lines running all over my face. And I was crying and I was there, "I want to go back to London. I don't want to act." So that, they gave me chocolates. And he sat me down and he said, "You know Shivaji Ganeshan?" "Yeah." "He takes 25 takes for every shot." And I was saying like, "Yeah. So you've only taken 5 takes." Shivaji Ganeshan would have died if he had known that he was being subject to such scrutiny. But anyway, and he said, and somehow he coaxed me and we started off. So every day I would pack my bag and say, "Anakavanda, I'm going back." And he would say, "No, you can't do it." It was my mother who said, "No, you can't do it." And then I have never worn Bharatanatyam dress in my life. I know nothing of Bharatanatyam. And they would show me this dress and they would say, "You are going to wear this." And I'd be so excited. I am going to wear this dress. And that's how I did Bharatanatyam. If you see Bharatanatyam, it was a very sad Bharatanatyam. But director was being an editor and he knew that he could cut off all the bad shots. I remember there was a picture of mine which was released at that time where I had to do a Natarajar pose. So Natarajar mari na nikra madri or shot irundhathu. Many years later, when I was working with Mr. Kamal Hassan, he called me. "Bharatanatyam theriyuma?" Yes. "Theriyadu." "Natarajar mari ninniye." "Ama." "Natarajar வந்து பாதம் பூமியை பார்த்து இப்படி நிக்கணும், அப்படி நிக்கணும். உன் பாதம் மட்டும் ஏன் வானத்தை பார்த்து நிக்குது?" I was like that. My Natarajar was totally wrong. So this is all the learning you learn. So next time I knew where to keep my feet and my hands. So, and my Bharatanatyam stories are immense. Mr. Maniratnam, or you all know Maniratnam, he's made a movie called Pagal Nilavu. He had the audacity to cast me as a Bharatanatyam dancer. Even till date, I ask him, "Mani, what made you cast?" He says, "I know, don't ask me about it." And I had a girl who was 11 years old to teach me dancing. And at the bambara mari, she'll go, "Tak, tak, 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 tak," she'll go. I'd be like, "Oh no, I wouldn't know where to keep my hands." But somehow I learned. That was a learning experience. I learned how to act and I learned how to perform and all that. So when I first came, my film was a super hit and my life just changed. Mr. Bharti Raja had changed my life and I had movies to act and there was no time. But for me, it was like a picnic. I would go for shootings and I thought it was all fun. At one point, I decided, this is not it. That's when I went to Telugu movies. Telugu movies is the one which groomed me. When I went there, I remember it was a lot of hard work. I never knew the language. The first day I went, everybody was saying rape. And I was looking at my mother. My mother doesn't know. My mother doesn't know Telugu. I said, "Amma, enna ellarum rape pathiye pesranga." So, and we didn't know who to ask also. And we were thinking, what is this? We are with a bunch of rapists here. They were the sweetest people. I had the most extraordinary learning process in Telugu. And I did some fantastic films. Even when I walked in, you all were playing a song, Vatapatra Sahiki Varahala Lali from Swati Mutyam. And only yesterday, some people are wanting to celebrate 36 years of the film for Mr. K. Vishwanath. So I had given a video bite and I remember this song. Fantastic song. I always sang that to my kids. I used to sing it to my son, and one day he told me, because I wanted him to sleep, and he looked at me and he said, Amma, I'll sleep, but don't sing. So now you know, the actress in me was a bad singer. So I gave up my singing career. I can't sing to save my life.
So you have Bharati Raja, who was not your poster boy, but who made a poster girl out of you.
Please, Bharati Raja cannot be poster boy. He's not poster boy material. My poster boy was Donny Osmond, the singer.
Oh, okay.
And they called it Puppy Love.
Oh, yes.
That was a famous song. And I used to love the Osmond. Donny Osmond used to be all over and I used to like Rajesh Khanna. Till today, I think even his wife never cried so much. I cried so much when he died. Wife couldn't be bothered. But I'm saying, I used to like him so much. I think when I was a little girl, my father asked me what Khanna and if you all know, my father is a very typical eccentric person. And I went to him, he asked me, Khanna, Bharatanatyam kenna veno, you know, what do you want for your birthday? I said, I want Rajesh Khanna. He said, Serupal Adipa. Cinema Karaniya Kekra. He hates film people. He must be turning in his grave, I'm married to an actor. And so that was, I could never speak about Rajesh Khanna at home, but I love him. I used to like him. I used to have his pictures on my school books. You know, we used to have these covers and we used to put all these pictures, stick it, and then put the brown cover on top so the teacher doesn't see it. So this is all what I used to do. That was my Donny Osmond and
Rajesh Khanna.
Rajesh Khanna till today.
Okay,
Yeah.
we are faithful.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Talking about school books and covers and your friends in school, are you still in touch
Yep,
with them?
I am.
And
I am in touch.
do you have a social media group?
We meet on and off, but then I was very young. I moved to Sri Lanka. I studied in Sri Lanka. So they have yearly get-togethers, which I somehow try and make it. But now for the past few years, they haven't had, and everyone's traveling. Most of them in Sri Lanka, there's a mix of girls. They are more, what do you call, Anglo-Indians, Sinhalese, Tamils have migrated. All the Anglo-Indians have gone to Australia. So it's once in a way we do meet. We try to make it December. We all come to Sri Lanka to visit family and we try and meet.
That's great. And so taking you across there from, we're talking about women friends here. You are known for your friendship with Suhasini.
Most of the friends who were introduced during the 80s, we have a group where we sort of do a lot of meeting, chatting, gossiping, drinking coffee. Then once a year, they organize a huge event where all the actors, we somehow, sense ego, anything, we all meet up, have a wonderful party, and those memories last forever. Everyone knows that the 80s are a very united group. Yeah.
Okay.
Great
And-
friends, all good friends.
So did you, you just talked about being an air hostess, you couldn't stand and you couldn't stand the sight of blood and that you're an accidental actress. So any ambition that you nursed ever at all before you became the accidental actress?
No,
No?
I'd be very wrong to say I was ambitious at 15. My mom, even till date, she'll say, you have no ambition. I really don't have ambition. What I only learnt one thing when I came to movies. Whatever I do, I must do it to my best. I must give it 100%. This 100% somehow stuck to me when I was very young. So when I did a role, I would give it my all. And the appreciation and all that work paid off. So when I came into movies, I was there and all, you have all this, you know, you will have lot of Nobel Prize winners in the movie industry. They think they know everything. Amma, don't do this, don't do that. They will give you all sorts of advice. And they said, you know, that time when I came, Sujata was very popular, an actress. Very good for her strong women role, crying, you know, fighting with her husband, all the women-oriented movies. Then we had Sri Devi. She was very glamorous, very good-looking, and she used to do all those roles. Then we had Sri Priya, who used to do all the tomboy roles. Then I remember these women were very prominent at that time. And they used to say, "Neenga enna panna poringa? Naina koranga." So I used to think like, I want to do everything. So I molded myself. It is like a manifestation. I said, I am going to do everything. I want to be a strong woman. I'm going to be a tomboy. I'm going to be a glamorous. I'm going to do everything. And I did it. I channeled all my work accordingly. I used to accept films. I used to remember sometimes accepting films where like Bharati Raja always gave me my comeback. Like when I did movies and I was doing a lot of movies, I've done more than 300, 400 movies. And when I was doing all that, when I had a child, when I had my daughter, you know, in cinema, there's a lot of preconceived notions. There's a lot of preconceived, oh, okay, if you are married, you're dead. If you have a child, forget it, you can bury them. That means all, you know, when they write, I used to be very annoyed with it. I am very annoyed when they have this, all women, they have their fixed approach. She cannot be 15, you know, and be a young girl. She can't play this role. Who are they to decide? I used to think, who are you to decide? So when I had a child, I was at the hospital, in GG hospital. I remember Bharati Raja came to see me, asked me, how are you? I'm fine, sir. And we are great friends. We're chatting, then he said, okay, there's a script. So I said, mm-hmm. And he said, it's a fantastic, only you can act in that movie. So you take the child and you come outdoor with me to Vatalagundu. I thought he was joking with me. It's a joke, sir. I've just had a cesarean, I'm lying down, and it's my first child. And and he was convincing me. After 2 months with this child, I went to Vatalagundu and I did a film called Kilakkuchi Mele. Yeah. With a child, I was feeding the child. I used to act, go feed the child, and there was no caravans at that time. We had just rooms. And he turned my life upside down. And when I came back with that film, the film was a big hit. I started doing fantastic work. So I proved to everyone that, you know, having a child, being married, being a mother will not stop you. And when you want to do it, you can do it. And that was it. So these preconceived notions can go to the dustbin.
That's good. So that's a great takeaway for all of us ladies here. But as we go on, which means that you had to literally reinvent yourself every time you were reinventing on your feet.
Yep.
And how did you do that?
First of all, you know, we just celebrated Women's Day, and I must tell you, there's a lot of women before us who have created a path for us. Okay. And we are just continuing the good work which they have done. I looked at actresses like Savitri, Padmini, whatever you want, the greats, Shivaji Ganeshan. I don't only idolize women, I idolize men too. And my idol is Amitabh Bachchan. I feel that I will always be like him. I'm going to be bloody old, but I will be doing fantastic roles. And till today, I'm doing that. I am doing roles which are written for me. I'm so happy. The path I created, the knowledge I have given or learned, and I have said, I will do different roles. I will do, and till date, whatever, whatever, so anything about me, the energy or whatever. I am doing today, everyone writes roles for me and they say, you have to do this role, and I do the role. And I'm so happy to be in that space. I don't have an ego problem, and I'm acting with Samantha, I act with Nayanthara, all fantastic. But I look at them and I say, wow, look at the women today. There's a path we created. They're all such strong women today. They know what they want. The girls of today, they absolutely, I mean, compared to what I was when I came in, I look at them, they know what they want. They know how to keep men where they are. They know when to fall in love. That is another learning experience, is love.
Okay.
I tell you, I learned it all wrong. I was very confused. What is love? I tell you, it is a great lesson for us. But the girls of today, they know who to fall in love with. This guy, Bakara. Come on. They are so good. Look at them. Look at the Priyanka Chopra. She's got one Nick Jonas. See him, I feel sorry for him. No, he's one Papa singing all the time. She's got him, okay? I mean, she knows how to keep the relationship good. She knows what she wanted. Yeah? And that's fantastic. We didn't know that. I still don't know that. I keep telling my husband, I'm so confused. I have to say anything to you. But yeah, life goes on. We learn.
Yeah, we live and we learn about love too.
Yeah.
And okay, now
That's
talking
the
about
takeaway for today.
Yes.
Love.
Yeah, learn about love, learn how to fall in love, when to fall in love, where to fall in love.
No. And the takeaway of that is, please love yourself first.
Yes.
I have learned that a little late, but never too late. Love yourself. You have to love yourself. Everything will fall automatically. Whatever. It'll all come because you have to love yourself. We don't take care of our health. I mean, I was just, when Dr. Preetika Chari was saying, how women, we don't take care of our health. We always taking care of our husband or child or mother, sister, and especially in films, when the era which I came in, we took care of families. We took care of our families. Today's heroines don't do that because the families are all, because we all came up a different way. So we took care of all of them. I have never done a scan. I've never done a checkup. Only in my late 30s or when I hit 40s, I started thinking about myself. And then I learned, I tell everyone, I tell all the women, first take care of yourself. And that I learned it from my mother. Is my father died in 1979 and I was filming in Ooty for a film. And they told me my father died in Trichy. We all were upset, we were crying, my mom was crying, and then my mother, fantastic person, if you know her, she's one class apart in being strong. Then she started, she said, okay, let's go, we have to go to Trichy. So we are driving down from Ooty, came to Mettupalayam and Coimbatore. She stopped the car in some hotel. She came and she bought us food to eat. And I was crying. I said, how can you ask me to eat? My father has died. She said, first, you need to be strong. Only when you're strong, you can take care of other things. So first you eat and then we'll go for the funeral. So she brought us to the funeral and invariably we got nothing to eat when we went there. So we were there, and all, in every family, we all have our own drama. Please raise your hands.
Yes.
All of you all have dramas in your
Yes.
house? Mine is not exceptional. Because my father is a very flamboyant person. I don't know how many wives he has, because seriously till today I don't know. My husband is more confused. Whenever he goes somewhere, somebody comes and says, I'm Radhika's sister. God may say, somebody's here saying it's your sister. I said, I don't know. I'm sorry. God bless him. But those days were different. And he had fantastic logic. Any woman he met, he would buy her a house and a cow. Sustainable. Eco-friendly. Milk the cow, sell the milk, make money, and you have a house. So I go to Kumbakonam, there's a house. I go to Madurai, there's a house. So anyway, that's my drama. So when I went to Trichy for the funeral, there was huge drama. I don't want to go into it, but yeah. So, fantastic learning. I look at everything in my life as a journey. It's my journey. I never look at other person. I have never, till today, be very truthful. I never look at Sri Devi and say, wow, I want to be like her. I don't want to be like her. And she was my contemporary. I never looked at her and said, I want to be. I never did that. Whatever I did to my best. And that's why I have created my own path today.
Yeah. So coming to your path on the small screen, you moved. Now, I am not too much into cinema or television. I appreciate it from a distance. That's fine. And so, but what struck me was your very first production was on a character called Chitti. What made you think in terms of Chitti? Why not mummy? Why not sister? Why not amama, akka, whatever? But why Chitti? Where did Chitti flow?
Okay.
Come into it.
First, I was doing very well in movies and I was looking at television. I decided to start television. I was a single mother. I had a daughter to take care of. I was traveling a lot. I just didn't want to leave her and go. You know how it is when kids are small and they're with their baby. I say, Mummy, where are you going? And you think you're doing the biggest sin to them. But believe me, they forget. The minute we leave the door, they don't even remember us. All children are the same. I tell my daughter that now. She said, how can I leave my child? I said, please, the minute you go, they won't even be bothered. They don't give jack shit for you. They just want to play and eat. So just leave it. So, but then at that time, I had this huge thing of leaving my child alone. And I thought I will do television. And I was doing very well in movies at that point. But I knew it's all a circle in films, for women especially. After a point, they will ask me to act as Rajinikanth's mother. Why would I want to act as Rajinikanth's mom? I don't want to. He's my contemporary. I said, you call me mom, amma, I will slap you. And so I didn't want to be typecast into anything. I thought I should be in control of my career. So I started television. And my first television was Idi Kada Kadu. It was a Telugu serial which did extremely well. And then I've always been lucky in Telugu. And then the Tamil people wake up and they say, oh, she's very good. Let's call her. And then Tamil woke up and they said, why don't you make a serial? And I made Chitti. Now the question you asked me was Chitti. Why? At that time I was watching television and whatever little I've seen of television was Doordarshan, which was absolutely abysmal. And then whatever serials were coming, they were talking, they were walking for hours. It was very drawn out, slow, submissive women, giving in to everything. I can't tolerate such nonsense. I don't believe, even in a film where I remember I was working with my husband Sharad when we were not married. And there's a scene where he's acting as the father and son. So the father I am paired with, and he slaps me because the son is not listening to him. And the son gets very angry and he tells the son, oh, you're getting angry when I slapped your mother. The same way when you hit another person, the other person's mother is going to get very upset. It was like teaching him, all that is fine. After the scene, he comes and rubs my cheek, the husband. I'm sorry I slapped you. And I'd say, it's okay. I also wanted to know how it is to be slapped by you. I said, I will slap him back. I will not say this dialogue. Because there is some helpless woman out there who's watching this movie and she's going to think that it is a man's prerogative to slap her. I said, no. The director and me had such a huge fight. He said, "Ennaga na dialogue elidirikken neenga solla mattinga." I said, "I won't say it. I'll really not say it." And then Sharath had to step in and play his natame and compromise. I said, "I won't," and I didn't say it till the end. I would never say something like that. So at that point, when I was doing Chitti, I was watching all the women being portrayed, and I said, I am going to have a woman portrayed differently. And especially in Tamil Nadu, when you say Chitti, or in Telangana, when you say Pinni, it is a very negative person. It has got a very negative image. Okay? So I said, I'm going to change that image. So I did it, and I played a very strong woman, a woman of substance, and it was accepted at that time in a very big way. Yes.
So that's how Chitti rose in all our esteem, as did you. Now, that was another mega serial, and then you had Annamlai, which went into more than 700 episodes, and there were, so all are mega serials in which you invest a lot of your emotion. How do you negotiate or meander from reel to real and to reel and real and back?
What experience? A lot of experience, and I never taken my roles, or I've never taken my success as an actor there's one thing very terrible about the film industry. I'm sorry, it is my industry, but they all take themselves a little bit too seriously. They think too much about themselves. I've always, from the minute I've seen that, I've always thought to myself, I would never want to be that. I cannot do that. They can't even laugh at a joke. I must tell you, the first time I met, this is a very light-hearted thing. I won't tell you the actor's name. The first time I met one actor, so-called very big actor, I said, hi, I'm Radhika. He said, hi, I'm blah, blah, blah. Have you seen my film, say, Kuch Kuch Hota Hai or something? Have you seen my film? Kuch Kuch Hota Hai? I said, no, sir, I haven't seen. Oh, I'm simply superb.
Oh, I'm simply superb. I'm simply superb.
I said hello to him and he said, have you seen my film? I'm simply superb. And I was like, Jesus Christ, do I need to listen to this crap in the morning? So I was like, huh? A bit too much. It was overflowing all over. I didn't want it to come into my premise. And he said, you must see it. It's I'm brilliant in the film. He would stop. And I was like, oh my God, can you be so full of yourself? And that was a learning experience. I always take the good out of it. Now I laugh, but the good out of it is I never take myself seriously. And that's how I have channeled the way I think, the way I work, and the way I contribute to work. People who know me, who have worked with me, there must be few people here who worked. Yeah, Shailaja is there. She's worked with me. Once you say cut, that's it, I'm done with it. But then television is so repetitive, long, drawn, and it takes a lot of energy to keep going. And now television has changed. Now television, there are so many people who are sitting in the process of scripting, and I don't know jack of what they're saying. We would make a story and they would say, "Idu vendam, madam. You take one tea chatti and go to the temple and walk around. And there's a scene where somebody is trying to put a bomb up your tea chatti or you or whatever." I said, why would I want to do that? I'm an educated woman in the serial. Why would I want to do such a scene? Then I said, okay, I was being very diplomatic. In the scene, and I left. The second time they called me, they said, Madam, from Monday to Friday, you are singing and dancing Antakshari songs. And my character is of a teacher in that. I was doing Chitti too. I was just looking, I sat in the set for about 10 minutes and I was just thinking, do I need to be in this situation? So I had to be diplomatic again. I went and said, I don't want to act in television. I'm going to go into politics, which is a lie. I don't like politics. I will never come to politics. But I support my health, whatever at that point. I said, I have to go. So I'm retiring from television for the time being, and I walked out of television. I started doing movies, a lot of movies, and I'm having great fun doing what I want to do, enjoying it. See, that is important. We have to enjoy what we are doing. Otherwise, I'm going to kill myself, just doing something which I don't want to do. So that is how I look at my career. I do what I want and I have to enjoy it.
Okay, and
I get paid for it.
yeah, sure.
Very well.
So now here's something. Now you're, as a corporate head, what do you have to say to all of us here?
Okay. Accidental corporate head.
Accidental actress, accidental corporate
Everything
head.
accidental. I came very accidentally into running a business. I have not done MBA. I have not done any business management. I have not learned anything about business. I only used my head. That's it. I just used my head and I developed my patience a lot. You have to meet the guys when you're doing business. Yeah. And then I learned a whole new world. I learned that women are not taken seriously in business. I would go to every bank and they would be like, oh, you Madam Radhika, please come sit down. I saw your film Swati Mutyam. Wow, what acting. Okay, sir. Sir, I've come here for this project. I'm going to start this television because I must tell you how I started off being a corporate. When I was doing Radan, like I told you, I came into television. I was a writer, I was a creative head, I was an actor, I was everything. And invariably people cheat you. You're doing everything, you can't look at everything. Then I lost a lot of money. I shut down. For 2 days, I just sat and I was thinking, no, something is wrong. I have to think of something long run. I believe in investing in long run relationships, long run business. So what do? I said, I'm going to corporatize this place because I have seen so much, I've learned so much in movies. It's a most disorganized, organized industry. So I said, I'm going to bring in some organizational structure into this. And I got in some people who were some CFOs and CEOs and everybody, put them and started, and we took it public. We made it a public company, and that's how I became an accidental corporate person. And then one fine day when I was doing very well, all these corporates, you know what they are? They will all dump your backside one day and then I had to learn. Then I said, no, I learn it on my own. All these days I was dependent on other people. Every day is a learning process. Okay, every day is a learning process and you learn from it. And the fantastic thing is you fall down, you learn and you get up. The next time you won't do that same falling down again. But then that's life.
That's nice. So here we have a non-MBA corporate head, and she's a woman. So there's a lot for us from here too.
Yeah.
And
go to every bank, they would not give me a loan. They would not support me. Every single bank I went to, I had to borrow money. I had to sign in so many papers. I think I've signed even on the walls. If it was blank, I'll say, because, but then I need to come out of it and I stopped that. And then the banks trusted me and And then it continued.
So what you're saying is you earn it.
Yep. That's the toughest part for women, you know. We have to fight more than the men. Then the men say, oh, you women have it so easy. You all smile, you all dress up, you all come and sit there and people will do. Nobody will do anything for you. They'll want to do something else, but not give you. Sorry. I like to be a little bit frank, but nobody has supported me in that way. And I had to do it all on my own.
So do you believe that every moment of your life is your me time, or do you have a separate me time?
I do have my me time. I told you I'm in love with myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, not with my face or my hair or my teeth or anything. I just love myself. I like to sit down. I like to meet friends. I like to go out. I like traveling. I enjoy, I love my time with my kids. But more than my kids, my daughter has 2 kids. I love them.
Yes.
They are the best. I tell you, as a journey as a woman, whatever I have learned that at the end of the day, just seeing those children has given me happiness, which no man, nothing has given me.
So it's grand happiness.
Yes.
Yeah? So before I throw you to them,
Yeah, sure.
I've got, now this is rapid fire,
Oh, okay.
okay? And no thinking. So your first thought as I say these words: color,
Red.
sari,
Love it.
fashion,
Comfort.
man,
Don't like them.
woman,
Love them.
thought for the day.
Laugh while you can.
Okay, so on that note of laughter, ladies, she's all yours. Any questions?
I wish this whole interview was in Tamil. Though you grew up there and all that, and you're comfortable, you read so much, you watch so much of content in English. There's something in the way you speak Tamil. And somebody with this attitude and likes the way you connect with Tamil women, Tamil people is nice. Tamil ucharikkirappo and I'm going to have this fangirl moment, which I've never had with her in all these years, even when I interviewed you for Cinema Rendezvous. And the gundu kannathukulla and the vaarthe, Tamil vaarthe ulla potta stupara madri, azhaga irukum, pidichikra madri. Lovely to hear you. And I think the best part I've seen with several people in your family is also the timing you have. For example, when she said no thinking, you said one, there, which was like, I think those things about you convey pages written about you. But I wanted to specifically ask you about your sense of humor, because I've often heard through Subha and several other friends to the way you talk, your friendship with people like Sri Priya or Malvika, the friendship you have with these women and the way you discuss. Like, I was surprised you did it even in the you said, in the house there. So these are things which you do so beautifully, and you've gone through so much in life, whether it is with marriages, project, children, difficulties up and down. I remember this time when you were shooting for one of the television projects with deadlines and you had a back problem, and the way you used to come and still be there for people. Like once when from Singapore, I had wanted some medicine and I'd put it out on social media. She responded for that and she said, I can get it for you, somebody will give it. How do you, with all these difficulties, the way you connect with different kinds of people across layers, how do you maintain that sense of humor? It could be genetic. You have so much of your father's timing and thoughts about society or individual space in the way you speak. Your friends are dynamic people. And what really contributes to you maintaining that positivity and your sense of humor? Thank you.
My motto has always been to laugh while we can. At the end of the day, have you seen the past few years, people were dropping like flies. People very close to me, people very close to, I think, any one of you, you know somebody. At the end of the day, what did they think? it was not the will to live. They only remembered good times. Nobody, I don't remember when I've cried, howled, I've rolled on the floor, I've done all that. But you ask me now, I can't remember why I did it. Why was I angry with somebody? I don't remember. Why did I cry? I don't remember. I remember, oh my God, we all were sitting there laughing about, in the dinner. I remember all the laughs. I remember all the good times only. So I feel that is what keeps me going. I don't give a damn to anything. I don't. I really don't. I care for people. I have a lot of empathy towards people. These all keep me going because that's what makes me as a person tick. I learn a lot. I learn watching people. I use it in my movies. I use it when I talk. And, when in movies, and it helps my work. But at the end of the day, it's how life has treated you. And if I am going to let that get me down, wow, that's not going to happen. It cannot happen. It's not going to happen. Yesterday, I had a very good friend of mine who suddenly had some health scare, and she was sitting and she was sobbing in my office. I don't know what to do. I said, first, you need to take everything step at a time. No, you're trying to do everything at one go. So I chatted with her, and she was feeling much better after that. I think these are things which matter. I would have liked it when I was going through a tough time. If somebody had sat with me and held my hand, I didn't have the option. Nobody did that. Nobody holds my hand. Half the people don't want to hold my hand. So anyway, maybe it would have calmed me down or made me, but I learned everything on my feet. So that's how I am.
Please don't hold your hand because you don't look vulnerable.
I know. I was at the radio room the other day. After a long time, I'm going to listen to music and sit with some friends, have a drink. And two girls came and hugged me. Can I hug you? And they hugged me. I said, yeah, fine. Oh, I love you. You're so strong. And I said, okay, thank you. And she said, okay, my husband gave me 2 children. He left me. I married again. That fellow also left me. What do I do? Did I look like an agony aunt or something? I was like, sorry, I can't hear you. The music is too loud. I'll talk to you later. May I hold your hand? And I said only one thing to her. I said, never go behind a man who doesn't want to. It's a waste of time.
But then she has to learn too.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's her journey. Any other questions?
I've had this agony aunt a lot of times.
Hi, Radhika.
Hi.
I'm Prema, if you remember.
Yeah, I did.
And I am a huge fan, not only of yours, but your dad's. Inniko Radha sir padam comedy scene he was, apart from comedy, he was a great actor.
Yep.
So character roles also. I think it runs in the family, your brother.
Fantastic.
And I think I wanted to tell you one small incident I remember about you. You may not even remember. For our National Association for the Blind car rally from Gymkhana, you once came to flag it off, and you were a bit late. And somebody asked you, why are you late? You said, I never come here. And I said, you have not come here. You told me, do you know they don't give memberships to actors in clubs even today?
Yeah, they do.
Is that still the same?
Actors and dogs not allowed.
Dogs come in. So I was very sad to hear that, because yours is it's a profession. It's another profession.
Yep.
And I also wanted. I have seen you from Braille to now. How you have grown in leaps and bounds as far as acting, and also அந்த ரோலுக்கு பாரதி ராஜா போட்டு தப்பே இல்லை. It was a very innocent girl, Panchali. ஒரு இப்படி பட்டையா வாரிண்டு ஒரு மேக்கப் எல்லாம் சரியா பண்ணாம அன்னையில இருந்து இன்னைக்கு நீங்க எப்படி ஆயிட்டீங்க அப்படின்னு admire you a lot. People like you, Hasni and all, like as you're aging, you're going more and more graceful, and you're all role models for people like me who are growing old. I'm older than you, and so gives us the inspiration. Like there's no age, that's only a number.
Yep.
And ungalada Vani Rani, you know, I've told you, I'm watching it every day at dinner time. In the Chitti too, I'm afraid as a bit disappointing. So Radhikaava ipdi serial edukranga na nenikira.
I told you, we have different people now contributing to script, so we are not involved.
Okay.
We are only production managers at the moment.
Okay, but that is only disappointment. Otherwise, I love all your movies. இந்த ரொம்ப பாசமா உங்க சின்ன கேக்கு சீமையில அப்படியே இது பண்ணி டூப்ளிகேட் பண்ணி உடன்பிறப்பேன்னு இப்போ ஒரு படம் வந்தது. ஜோதிகா நல்லா நடிச்சிருந்தாங்க. But you were so much like you, that movie. So you have become an inspiration to actors like that also. So keep acting like Amitabh, do good roles for us, and we are all fans of yours always.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the kind words.
Ladies, I've just noticed that Radhika has been looking at her watch, so I'm not too sure about
It was ringing.
Oh, okay.
Phone because I put it on silent.
All right.
Yeah.
So there are some questions.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Yes,
These are just comments. When you said that nobody would give you a loan, in 1994, when I tried to start my epilepsy center, I am a single woman and I went for a loan. I had my own income tax statement. I was earning, working as a consultant in Apollo. They said they needed male guarantor signatories in order to even consider my loan. So I just want everyone to know that when you go as a woman, even if you're competent, capable, you have to face this difficulty.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I love the way you sort of navigate in so many aspects of your life. And you may not know that people like me can admire you. I'm much, much older than you.
Thank you, doctor.
But I love the way you navigate the ups and the downs, because I believe that motivating women is something we have to do by just being the inspiration. And that you're doing very well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Radhika is just being herself all the time, and I suppose that comes easy to you. And there's some more questions there.
Yeah, the mic's coming.
So the question is, you've done a few Hindi, I mean, I've watched a couple of your Hindi.
Any particular reason? I mean, the thing is it very different from our Tamil films, as all say? Secondly, how come you haven't done quite a lot? Is there any particular reason?
Okay. My foray into Hindi was again accidental. They cast me in Naseeb Apna Apna. Where I had a choti, which had a permanent problem. And I was acting with Rishi Kapoor. I was very fair. I mean, he's very fair. I am not fair. If I was fair, I will be in Poise Garden. I would have owned Poise Garden. Oh, that was another discrimination I faced all through my career. Koncha color irundha nalla irundirukum. Anyway, so when I worked in that film, I was treated, I'm sorry to say that, I know in Chennai, we are a very tolerant society. I think we all, but you know, when you go to the Bombay industry, they look down upon you. Are wo sambar aa gaya, wo idli aa gaya. I hated it. I thought that was so disgusting. I never tell them, oh, chapati aa gaya or whatever, lassi aa gaya or whatever. I don't say all that. It's not even a saying. I found it absolutely horrible. And, you know, I was never comfortable working in Hindi.
Okay.
And then when I did that film, I had to act without makeup in that film. True. And you know, Rishi Kapoor is fair, means he's one pink fair. I've never seen that fair. I used to watch Bobby. I think film I watched 24 times is Bobby in Midland Theatre. And then I have to act with him. So I was looking at him and when I kept, and my hands are especially dark than my face. See, there'll be some different shade. And when I kept my hand next to him, it was disgusting. I was like, oh God. I used to go put tons of makeup and come and keep my hand next to him. And the director will say, "Arey, ye kya? Just take off your makeup." So, and I had to act with him. And the film was a hit. Then I did a film with Amitabh Bachchan called Aaj Ka Arjun.
Yeah.
Even that was a hit. And I was acting with all these people whom I admire. I mean, Amitabh Bachchan, I am like flat.
Correct. Jackie Shroff also, I think. you
Yeah.
had.
Jackie Shroff, I don't go flat. But Amitabh Bachchan, yes, I go flat. So it was absolutely fantastic working with them, but I just couldn't commute. And I think, I don't know whether I did the right thing or the wrong thing, but I always, today, if there's something like a sort of a regret, if I think I should have done it, is when Chitti was made. I remember Ekta Kapoor and Jitendra flew down from Bombay. They came and met me and they said, please give the rights to us. I said, sure, you take the rights. You want to make it? Because I knew Jitu Ji because I had done a film with him, Mera Pati Sif Mera Hai or something. So I said, Sujit, but he said, one condition, I have to act in Hindi. I said, no. Because I was married, at that time I had just remarried, I was newly married. I was thinking if I go to Bombay for 15 days a month, this marriage, I don't know where my husband will be. So just to be on the safe side.
But was language a barrier for you? Or
No, I used to, when I'm acting, I can, you know, I must tell you about Jackie Shroff. I used to have the scenes with huge dialogue where I have to say pages and pages of dialogue and come to him in the end and says, do you still blame me for something or something in the scene was? And he has to say, never, I will never blame you. That's all. 2 lines. Never, never blame you. I used to come all the way, the dialogue with great difficulty, you know, no prompting, nothing. I used to say all the dialogues. Came and he used to look at me and saying, Teri maa ki, I can't remember my dialogue. And I was thinking, this is not the dialogue. He used to say all bad words in Hindi. And he said, I can't remember. And I thought he was acting. And I'm looking at him thinking, but this is not the dialogue. That was Jackie Shroff's memory. And in Hindi, see here, we are very, for us it's a normal thing to do histrionics, to act well. People will say, nalla panegi madam, and that's it. In Hindi, it is not like that. If Amitabh Bachchan just did, Arey, kya hua? Saab, kya acting, saab? You know, there's a chorus in the set. And I used to be like, what did Amitabh Bachchan do that everybody is jumping up and it was not for Amitabh Bachchan alone. It was for everyone except for us. Anyone actor, they say, Sir, kya acting, sir? Achha, wow. And I thought, I can't deal with this. This I can't deal with.
Thank you.
I said, I can't. So whatever offers I got, even Sridevi, when she acted with me, she's a very close friend. I've done a lot of movies with her. She used to tell me, Radhika, you've done heroine roles and you are successful. You can do so much. We all want, in Hindi, what matters is only success. And then you can sustain. I said, no, boy, I go back to my good old Chennai.
Achha, not too comfortable
No.
there. Do you think it still exists that,
Yeah, no, I think we are still racist.
Okay, thank you, Radhika.
Radhika ma'am, I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, I
me.
do know you.
I interviewed you for my coffee table book,
Yep.
Business Wizards of Tamil Nadu. It was very inspiring to interview you, and I think I was very fortunate. In the same book, I featured you and Nina together. But I also remember you couldn't come in to collect the award, and I came to your office later to meet you. And the one thing that struck me in your office was that huge photo of Amitabh Bachchan there. Is it still there?
I love him, I told you.
It's really nice. And I remember coming to interview you when you were shooting in the Radan house in Injambakam.
Yeah.
That was the first time I even saw a shoot happen, and you were with your makeup man, and you know, that whole experience was so surreal for me. It was very, very inspiring to interview you and then hear you today. It has been amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Because you love him and you acted with him.
Yeah.
I think I was audible,
Never met
right?
Rajesh Khanna. I only listens to his songs. Even this morning when I was coming in the car, I was listening to him.
Oh, you didn't meet, you haven't met Rajesh.
No, I never met Rajesh Khanna. Amitabh Bachchan, yes. I remember I used to go see Sholay in Satyam Theatre. I had come back from London at that time. I used to be wearing this denim pant and denim jacket, which in Chennai was, I was like 80. But I used to walk and go to Satyam Theatre, and every time I put my hand to buy the ticket, they will put the houseful board. Then I thought I'll buy in black, but nobody was selling in black because everybody wanted to see the movie. The film was such a big hit. So somehow I got, and I must have watched that film so many times, and then to act with him. I must say, I have worked with a lot of actors. I've told you about certain actors, but he is a class apart. He really is a class apart. Very, very classy, respects women, the way he treats us when we are in the sets, and his sense of humor is out of the world. I must tell you a small joke if I have the time. We were doing a scene with him where I'm getting married or something, and he takes a box of laddu or sweet, and he's saying, Aram, you know, he has to say, oh, my sister is getting married. He has to distribute the seat, and he'll come to me, and he would say, with love, he has to feed me and all that. While we were he was doing it the shortcut cut because there was some technical problem. They said, cut. And my director was K.C. Bokadia. And K.C. Bokadia, sir, was his first directorial venture. So immediately he said, cut. Then Amitabh said, Arey, what happened now? We have given the laddus. Now for the next shot, we need laddus again. And we are shooting in some weird place where there's no laddus. You have to go miles to get laddus. Then K.C. Bokadia is a very calm, cool chap. He said, hey, sir, we'll take all those laddus, keep it underneath. The top laddus, we'll keep it on top. He's like, Arey, Marwadi. He was a Marwadi. He was. So I love the way he went immediately like that. I said, hey, Marwadi. So it was so funny. And he was telling us about how in Sholay, he says, which scene did you like? I was telling him, so you know how many times I've seen Sholay, blah, blah, blah. He said, which scene did you like? I said, you know, when you die, that scene where you act, your acting was so intense. I thought you were brilliant. He said, I should tell you about it. He said, Dharmendra ji, he says, helped him get that role in. So he had great respect for Dharamji. And when he was doing, and the scene, Amit ji knew that the scene is going to turn his career. It was one of the most poignant scenes in the film. So he went to Dharamji and said, Dharamji, you know, after a point, he starts drinking. He likes to have his drinks, and he's always in a happy zone. And he'll be like that. And Amit ji went to him and said, sir, please, sir, I'm doing this scene. Please do something. Help me to perform in this scene. Arey, mera bacha, mera lal, I will do everything. I will do everything for you and all that. And said, okay. And when they did the scene, I said, but how did you? He said, nothing. Amitji was so drunk. When I was lying on his lap, he held my neck like this. So actually I was gasping for breath. He was going all over the place. And he said, everybody said I acted well. But it was Dharamji strangling me. Please go back and watch that scene. And you can see that Dharamji is holding him. I went and watched it, holding him so tight that Amitji said, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't even move. Everybody said, kya acting. Wow, wow. So, yeah, it was very natural, and that was Mr. Amitji for you. Class apart. And I was so happy because when I was the first woman who hosted Kaun Banega Crorepati in Tamil, and he sent me a video, especially saying that how proud he was as a woman that I was doing that. So, heartbeat. Yes.
Thank you, Radhika. From Donny Osman to Amitabh Bachchan, you've come a long way. Thank you. And it's been a pleasure having you here with us. Oh, good. There's one more question. I'm sorry.
I just want to know your experience with Mr. Rishi Kapoor. Supposed to be a very good actor with
Fantastic
a temper
actor.
also, right?
He is an amazing actor, very consummate actor, very sincere about his craft, very sincere. And only problem is he's very fair. It was a problem to me. When he stands next to me, if you please go watch the film, you can see I'll be moving away from him because I don't want to be keeping my hand or leg next to him. Fantastic actor, great sense of humor. Very sad losing him, but yeah, I know it's a big loss to the industry, to his family, but he was a fantastic actor.
Thank you.
One more question, please.
There.
Hello.
Chapale. నాకు బాగా వినిపిస్తుంది. Oh, Chiranjeevi and me are fighting friends. I have done 28 movies with him. We used to see our faces every day that we hated each other. Yeah, we were not talking when we were doing Abhilasha because we thought
Abhilash movie.
we used to fight for everything. So his wife was the compare. She was the in-between. She was the, what do you call, she was the support. She used to tell, please don't fight with him. Please don't fight with her. So she was our best friend then. But he is one actor who has come up a very hard way, but very hardworking, even till date. He's the same Chiru, what I have seen at that point. And it's so nice that we have a friendship through all the years. And I'm so proud to see his children doing so well now. Yeah. So.
Thank you. Yes. Are we done with questions? Yep.
Yeah, exactly. She is so much like us today. I'm not feeling the actress Radhika sitting there, but one of us. So before I go to my thank yous, I would say, Radhika, I loved your strong and deep voice. So thank you so much for an engaging, light-hearted and fun morning. It's sharing all your interesting anecdotes of your childhood, of your teenage life, and of course your film career. Like I think we all were in splits listening to her. And not only sharing these fun events and memories, but also you've been an inspirer today morning for all of us. And I think I've noted down some takeaways. If you all don't remember, okay, I'm just going to repeat them. So, not necessary to be ambitious, but just give your 100% to whatever you do. Be determined. If you want to do it, you can do it. So that should be the motto, and just enjoy whatever you do. Love yourself first. That is most important. And as you said, I think we are all from that generation where we never used to bother about ourselves, but I think now we all have started doing that. And two common things between me and you, I can't compare myself though, but I also hate taking surprises or giving surprises. And best part of my life is being a grandmother. And I think even Nina agrees to that. So thank you for being for us today there and always being there for the Duchess Club. And thank you, Srilata, for taking us through such an engaging and beautiful conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure being here and having this talk. I hope I've got my points across, and just believe in yourself. The only thing we need to do is be strong.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can we have Uma Muthuswamy here? Give a small memento from our side to Radhika. Yeah.
All this to lose weight, so sweet. I'm working out every day.
This is from Sri Lanka. Thank you so much, Sri Lanka.
You are attracting all my gym, everything is gone. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Radhika. Wonderful. Thank you. Wonderful. You can say goodbye to Radhika for today. Thank you for making me see. Thank you, Radhika. You should. Yeah, you should have some nice stuff. Yeah, let's meet up. Yeah. Yeah.